Hey everybody, Ed Dickinson here. Today I'm going to talk to you about Nascar DFS and talk to you about FanDuel and the differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. Basically, FanDuel has just recently come out with the NASCAR DFS, and so now we can play NASCAR on FanDuel and no longer have to just rely on playing it on DraftKings. Before I go into detail about really the differences of between the two sites and how they're doing the scoring, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm just an average DFS player. I've been playing for a few years now on actual big sites of DraftKings and FanDuel. I've taken down a couple smaller GPPs. Not a shark, I'm no high roller, just an average DFS player that enjoys NASCAR and playing all the sports. You can see right here on my screen here that I have my website up, dfsproviders.com, where I just share some of the resources and websites that I've used, whether I'm a full-time lifetime membership on some of these sites or I've used them in the past. I'm always looking to check out different websites. So if you got a site out there related to DFS that you want me to check out, go ahead and find me on Twitter, links below, and I can check out your site. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about NASCAR DFS, as we got now FanDuel using NASCAR and having contests out there. So basically, NASCAR on FanDuel, we are scoring 4 different categories. We got laps completed, laps led, place differential, and then where you're actually finalizing up. Now, the one thing that is not found on DraftKings is the laps completed. So this is a setting that, or a scoring category that is unique to FanDuel at this time, and this is a pretty big category. So you're looking on FanDuel to find drivers that are actually going to complete the race. Unlike, basically you're doing the same thing on DraftKings, but you're not getting points for, if your driver completes laps and completes races. So points could be adding up pretty quickly for some drivers as long as they finish the race on FanDuel. Laps led, both sites have laps led. The main difference between the two sites is FanDuel, you got it only as a 0.1, and DraftKings, you got it as 0.25. So based off of that 0.25 versus 0.1, your leaders of the race and the ones that are going to be running up towards the front and leading laps, it's going to be more, it's going to be better on DraftKings to pile up those points, and you're looking for the leaders of the races, guys that might lead for dozens of laps, or the ones on some of those races out there where a person might lead for 100 or 200 laps. Those are the type of drivers you're looking for on DraftKings, but you still need them on FanDuel, obviously, of course, but it's more beneficial to have those guys that are going to be out in front and leading a lot of laps on DraftKings. Place differential, there's a big difference between the two sites regarding place differential. On FanDuel, it's a 0.5 place differential. However, it doesn't show that it's a negative. So if you got a guy that is starting towards the front and they're a mediocre type of driver, you might not be targeting them on DraftKings, because if they're going to be starting in the top 10 but end up in the 20s because they're just an average driver and they actually did well during qualifying and getting the pole positions or up towards the front, well, those kind of drivers aren't going to be bad plays on NASCAR. No, I mean on FanDuel there. However, as we all know, anything can happen in NASCAR. Drivers getting wrecks, and there goes your lineup. It can happen in a split of a second where you're winning a tournament or you're up towards the top, and then your driver gets a blown tire or gets in a wreck, and your lineups are done. So that is a big difference between the two sites, is place differential. You got a 0.5 in the positive on FanDuel here, but on DraftKings you have both positive and negative, and it's 1 point differential. So those drivers that are going to fall off on places, you're going to get negative points on there, as well as on the flip side, if they're starting towards the back and they're one of the top drivers, well, then you're going to be targeting them. Not on both sites, you're going to be targeting them, but on DraftKings, you're going to get more points for them, as well as on the laps led DraftKings, you got a 0.25, and then you have only a 0.1 on FanDuel. So big differences between the points of a 0.1 and a 0.5 differences between on FanDuel, and then you got the DraftKings. They're giving out the 0.5 and 0.25 rather than the 0.1s, as well as you got some finishing positions that have some different points, regards to 43 for first on FanDuel, 46 for on DraftKings. No matter where you're playing, you're still always looking to target the guys that are going to be winning the races. So that's basically it. Not a whole, not too many differences. Not a whole lot of categories that they're scoring for on the two different sites, but both sites are fun to play, especially if you're on if you're a NASCAR DFS junkie or you love NASCAR in general. Check it out. Play both sites. Compare them. Tell us what let me know if you want to reach out to me on Twitter there. Let me know how you guys are, how you're seeing the differences between the two sites, and if you like one versus the other now that FanDuel has NASCAR. I'd like to hear about it, as well as if you are interested in basically getting help with your NASCAR lineups and getting some additional resources, or talking to other DFS players out there, you might want to check out the Fire Lions team at Volks DFS on Twitter. You can go ahead and reach out to them. If you let them know that Ed Dickinson referred you, you can go ahead and get a half off on any of the subscriptions. I'm a member of there. I've been using them for a couple years as one of my research websites that I use, as well as a whole bunch of other different websites to help me build my lines. I'm on there quite a bit, talking to other members and just discussing lines. Basically, we have a whole lot of members that are talking about their core. People to post their lines for advice on them. People are posting things that they find for research, things they hear on whether it's just ESPN, Twitter, wherever they finding news about different players and such. We're talking about sports all day long. So feel free to check them out. Go ahead and look. Also, send me a message or follow me up on Twitter as well. We can talk sports. Here I'll just show you one of my lines that, and actually I might have already closed it. Let's go ahead and let me minimize this real quick and just bring up one of my lines that I'm going to be playing this week on FanDuel. Now, this lineup is, I'm going to play it, but I am making this lineup without knowing where the positions are yet. They haven't had the pole positions released and the starting positions, so I'm still going to play this line. I like it. It's got some of the top drivers as well as a couple guys in the back, or guys that have experience. As we know, this upcoming race is a restrictor. Anything goes. You're going to have some crashes. Anybody can win it. You got to get lucky with it. Same thing with when you're playing on the NASCAR DFS, whether you're playing on DraftKings or FanDuel now. You got to get lucky on a race like this. So whatever you read up, whatever you're listening to, whatever advice people are giving on different sites, it's a coin flip. It's shoot darts at a dartboard blindly. You never know what could happen out there. So that's it. Again, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter. Feel free to check out the Volks DFS team. Send me any questions you want. And if you do want to check out the team, let them know that you saw this video. Let them know Ed Dickinson referred you, and you'll get a price cut and a deal on their memberships, no matter what membership you're looking for. Thanks again for listening, and good luck, everyone.